What's up, you guys? It's your dark skin girl with a motive, Poko, and welcome to the Melanin Motive, where we have kind of conversations about navigating life as we know it in our 20s and in our 30s. This is a map, a melanin manual, a GPS coordinate, and a motive to navigate this maze we call life. We are all trying to figure it out. Why not figure it out together? Yay! What's up? What's good, everybody? I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're looking good. I hope you're feeling good about yourself. I hope that we haven't been doing any light dimming this week. And if you haven't, I need you to go on a timeout right now. I'm live after this episode. I hope you guys have been doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being a part of this beautiful, beautiful community because I'm trying to figure out life and I certainly, definitely do not know what I am doing. I don't know who I am and I'm not going to pretend. And so I really hope that you find this a safe space because this is exactly what it is. Welcome to the Melanin Motive. Yes. Okay. So I've got a vote to pick with our parents. So the parents need to come this side and listen to this podcast. So parents, I need you to come this side. So I want to play a game with you guys a little bit. Let's play Put a Finger Down Life Edition. Okay. Put a finger down if life has been rocking you. Put a finger down if life is ghetto. Put a finger down if you are so tired of making decisions. Put a finger down if you are tired of trying to figure it out. Put a finger down if you think that Earth deserves a 0 rating. So how many of you have your fingers down? Because personally for me, I don't even have a hand at this point. I don't know what I was trying to do putting my fingers up here because little like a haleyo. I'm truly humbled by this life thing. In fact, like I'm just huffing and puffing about it, to be fair and honest. All the older people that I've been meeting up with, my sister's friends, the people that I meet outside, I'm always asking them, why didn't you guys tell us? Like, why didn't you guys tell us that it was going to be this hard? I kind of feel like we walked into it and sure. And for me, very much so. I think I walked into it and I thought that it was going to just be this, oh my gosh, we're young, we're free, adulthood, eat your money, go outside, be outside, I didn't think that I'd be, worried about the number of units in electricity. I didn't know that I'd have to be worried about the constant decision making that I have to make. I didn't know that I would, really just be rocked by life the way that I have been. And I've been humbled. Like life was really just trying to show me that, you know what, she is better than me. And you know what, life, you're the baddest girl. You doing your thing. You out here, you're serving. Cause no, I'm definitely feeling like I'm rocked by life. And I think that I walked into it very blindly and I thought one thing, and maybe that comes also from my situation. And it's very situational for different people, especially with their circumstances and how they've been raised. But for me, I'm like, I didn't think that it was going to be this hard. I didn't know that we'd be going through constant ebbs and flows. And I think that's something that has been very much like, nobody told me this. Nobody told me this, and I'm not happy right now. So I just want to know about why I sacrifice the notebook or the textbook, because also in LO it's giving that was like false information. This is not exactly what I was learning in LO. And so if we are looking for a textbook, this is probably going to be the best sort of explanation of how this life thing is going to be. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the ebbs and flows. I want to make an example with myself and my life. I've been raised in a home where I didn't have my parents. So the other day I was reflecting because I am growing older soon. By the time this video drops on Monday will be my birthday. Yay! Monday the 28th, and it is my crown birthday. I'm turning 28 on the 28th. And I've been doing a whole lot of reflecting, a whole lot of crying. Like, I've been crying for the past, like, literally almost every single day this month. I think because of the realization of how much growing up I've done and how much life I've experienced and how it's traumatized me and rocked me, that I'm just like reflecting on, where I should have been, what I could have been doing, who should have been here, who should have not been here, what I did, what I could have done, and just all of this, realizations and epiphanies and just the hurt that I'm carrying from all the things I've experienced until right now. And, of course, the reflection is not going to always be easy. Some of the things are really good. I'm not going to act and sit here and say that, oh my gosh, it's been all that bad. It just feels like that the past 2 years of my life, I've just been, humbled, really, really humbled by life. And it just showed me that it's this constant, reoccurring, concurrently, every single day, just problems after problems, lifing. And I kind of feel like it's ghetto, so I'm not happy. I'm not having a lot of fun. But I'm just, in the stage of this reflection, and I had a diary entry that I wanted to read to you. So since we are, obviously imparting wisdom in each other, I'm going to get really real with you guys. So this is what I said. I said, I've been independent from such a young age, and I'm tired. I've had to navigate and figure out so much on my own, and that's just who I've become. I've been searching and begging to keep people in my life because for me, I didn't have a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of people stay. My mom passed, so she wasn't here. My dad really hasn't been around. And everyone else has just been, figuring it out. And from a young age, I went to boarding school and I needed to figure it out and be this independent child that could do it on her own. I went to boarding school. I figured that out too. All this independence from a young age. But in turn, it was a whole lot of isolation from the world as I know it, especially in my own home. I'm at a stage in my life and in my world where my world fell apart for the past 2 years. And I feel like no one prepared me for the ebbs and flows that come with life and how constant it is, reoccurring, never ending. And I'm kind of pissed off because what do you mean is this hard? What do you mean? I have anxiety. I like control. I'm told I have to surrender my control to life, surrender my control to God and give it to God. And now I finally understand why it's so hard to hand over my control. I've had my life in my hands from a very young age, and I've had to figure out years on my own. And now I'm just exhausted. And so, wow, I can't even believe that I'm sharing this with you guys, but really it was a really honest reflection that I had because it's just been so hard. And I'm trying not to get emotional because it's just been a lot of reflecting from where I've been and who I am right now. I just feel like I just wish somebody told us that the ebbs and flows were going to be this hard. And I think for everyone, these things are very circumstantial. It has to do with your circumstances, how you were raised. But this is how, I was raised. I went to boarding school at a young age. So it was a lot of figuring out on my own. And now I'm reflecting. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, I've had to do a lot of this growing up on my own. And I'm kind of tired. And it's hard because, even now it's like, oh my gosh, so that's why you're people pleasing. That's why childhood issues, weirdo. But it really just has been just so humbling to be going through, life as we know it right now, especially in our 20s. I walked in thinking, okay, it's going to kind of be, easy breezy because I'll be able to manage. And I already have, my independence that I've been taught as I was growing up in boarding school. I really commend boarding school because it does give you that independence. And there's a lot of things I can do on my own and navigate on my own. But do I want to do it alone? No. And so the past 2 years in reflection of my life have been just ebbs and flows and just wow, you feel it is a movie by Scott Buffett. I don't think I've ever seen life rock me the way that it has these past 2 years. Just really just heavy things. And it kind of made me feel like, oh my gosh, is this how it's going to be constantly? Just troubles after troubles, like sorting things after sorting things. And when I look at, how life was going, let's make an example. Like it was post COVID. I was, figuring out my life. I had just graduated. I got a new job, top of the year. Like everything was going good. I was like, oh my gosh, got you in the neighborhood? He's like, yeah, I got you, girl. Don't worry. But remember, you need to come and you need to pray to me. You need to be, here, present. I'm like, no, not bit. Because I come from a family that prays. And I'm like, no, don't worry. I got you. We're going to pray. And every day, God would meet me where He said He would meet me to pray and to have a conversation. And I wasn't going there. Life was going on, fast paced. The girl is living life, going out, making friends, maybe not so good friends, being in environments, doing, things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, having experiences, growing, having good things happen to me. And every time God would be like, baby girl, by the way, you need to like come and like speak to me. We need to like chat. I'm like, yeah, God, this is amazing. I got my new place. Oh my gosh, thank you. This is so great. God, wow, look at your work. And he's like, I got you, girl. I said so. I said, I'd never leave a physique. I'm like, bet, my nigga. And then he'd be like, yo, but remember, we need to like, speak about what's happening and how do we use these blessings. I'm like, yeah, we got it, we got it, we got it. And my life was going on one night, bad too, really just all of this noise around me. A whole year later, I got to a place where now those things were being taken away from me. I lost my job. I lost my place. I lost my podcast. I lost the people that were around me that claimed to be my friends. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening, God? What is happening? And I think that, sometimes God sometimes does that just to get your attention. And this is something that I had pointed out in a recent post of mine. And I said, God will literally take everything away from you just to get your attention. I was too distracted. I was too distracted by the noise, by people, by monati, and all of these things that lefati, especially because I shouldn't, and I know that I shouldn't be, living according to the noise of the earth because, I was basically making the hype my ministry. And this is something Mokan always says, don't make the hype your ministry. That's her quote, period. Mokan Kamata is my twin, by the way, her. And, that was what I was doing. I was just, going according to the flows of everyone else, whilst people were figuring out their own lives and pursuing their dreams. I was, trying to people please them, dimming my lights, not really showing up as myself. And like, how crazy is that when you're Poko rats? Crack. No, it has to be. It has to be crack. And so a lot of reflection since then has been happening and a lot of growing up has been happening. And because of that, God really needed to get my attention. I needed to humble myself. I needed to be humble. I was not just silent, I was silenced. And so I think that it was one of those things where God was really trying to teach me something and I didn't realize it. I think I was so distracted by the noise and everybody else and not pursuing my passions, not, you know, pursuing to my commitments to even myself, that God was like, I need to call you back. I need to call you back to me because you've backslid. You're going so far from me, my child. And if it means that I have to take every single thing away from you so that you can recognize your power, recognize your vocation, I will. And he did. And he did. I had to move back home, pack my entire life because I couldn't find a job for months and months. And I had to come back home. And sometimes it's necessary to go back home, because then you come back and you realize, oh my gosh, I've got a community. I'm all alone. Oh my gosh, these people love me. And I think that it really helped me mentally and spiritually because I connected more with God. It was a necessary season of isolation, a necessary season of just silence, a necessary season of, closing the noise of people outside whilst people are actually just doing and living their own lives. And it'd be like that sometimes. And you're like, oh my gosh, you're really living your life. You really don't care about me. And it's like, when you watch, like, for instance, like Insecure and you saw like Issa figuring out her life and how she quit a job from We Got Y'all. And she went ahead and she was like, okay, I'm just going to try and figure it out because I'm not happy in this space anymore. And, she had to, switch it up. And she was now living at her ex-boyfriend's house and she was trying to figure that out. And she didn't even have money to have her own place. And then Issa was now all of a sudden like an apartment manager and like, all of this humbling that happens in life. This is normal. And when I was watching, I didn't think, oh my gosh, this is going to happen to my life or this is going to happen to me. And while I was living in my own insecure. And I feel like even all these episodes that have been taken out, I'm like, oh my gosh, insecure. But like, wow, how much of learning I've had to do since then. And, realizing how much of that and watching it on TV is a reflection of how life really is with ebbs and flows. And like, I think I had a lot of questions like, why is this happening to me? Why me? Like, why now? And it's just like, girl, stop. You're not that special. Everybody's going through something. And besides that, it was just one of those things where it's like, it's not just about you. There are lessons to be learned. And I had to stop and ask myself, wait, first of all, God, because I don't want to keep to the same patterns, keep to the same things, keep going into environments that don't serve me, that don't see my worth, that dim my light. What do I need to do differently? How can I change this formula so that I don't do the same thing over and over again? How can I change the way that I do things so that I'm not caught up in the same spiral? Because I spiraled. I spiraled so much. And I just had to stop and ask myself and ask God, what am I supposed to be learning in this season? I think these are things that we need to ask ourselves when we go through ebbs and flows of life. Is that okay? Wait, let me stop. I've gone through this breakup 6 times. What am I going to learn? What am I going to learn in the season? And then God is like, yeah, well, babe, you need to break up with him. He's kind of making you a little bit of a, you kind of like, losing your worth, you miss romantic over here. And like, you can see that this nigga don't love you. It's like, oh, I finally get it. I'm learning in this season. And then you break up with him. And then it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not going to go back to the same patterns I was. And there we go. You've learned something in the season. So, of course, like, it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it takes about 62 times until we realize that, oh, okay, yeah, I can't be here anymore. I need to move. I need to move on. I can't do the same things that I used to do. And for some people, it takes even longer, maybe 100 times. And for some of us, maybe even two. For me, it took two. But no comparison here. This is life and this is ebbs and flows. And now I'm learning and I'm like, okay, Poko, like, you're not the same person. All the things that you had planned to do when you were like 19 and saying that you were going to be, with your man by 25, maybe by 28, you're going to be, getting married, 30, have a kid. And now all of the things are not happening. Babe. You need to let it go. Because the thing about like life is that your new life is going to cost you your old life. And it cost me every single part of my old life. Every single part. I lost literally everything. And I'm grateful. I was not grateful in the moment. I will tell you that very much right now. I was huffing and puffing, fighting my God, and he knows it. But we cool now. We love each other always. Per, don't play. But I'm really grateful reflecting now and being like, okay, cool. Now I know what I was meant to do. Now I know why I was meant to be in that season of isolation and why I had to go through all of those ebbs and flows. I needed to learn something in that season. I needed to learn something from those situations, those heavy, heavy life situations. I needed to learn something. And I'm grateful for it. Was it easy? No. I literally wanted to kill people. I literally was not wanting to really participate on Earth. But I really feel like there is a purpose that I serve on this earth, and so do you. And so, as I speak here, it's not just, me, imparting wisdom from my life. I really hope that you see yourself in these things and realize that ebbs and flows are necessary and that sonke siyagoa, and then we come back. Buya mukele. Don't sit there for a long time. Come back. We're here with the side. It does get better. It's not always depressing. I know what it feels like to, be in this dark hole and not know what happiness feels like. I've been depressed before. And even when I got out of this bad season of mine, um, when I started going to therapy, because I was like, okay, cool. God, I've shut down the noise. I don't want to get depressed again. What am I going to do? And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go back to therapy because I need to debrief what is happening to me. And I don't know how our parents have been doing it for the past 50, 60, 62 years of life and not debriefing what their pain is. Because I see people around me, older people around me, and they are carrying so much of their pain still now. And I'm like, that's it. I don't want to be like that. I am fighting for my health. I'm fighting for my mentals. I'm fighting for my peace of mind. And so I knew that I had to be intentional about my peace. I had to be intentional about my healing. So the first time when I was depressed in 2020, when I went to my doctor and I said to her, okay, girl, so how long do these pills take to kick in? These were antidepressants. How long do they take to kick in? And she was like, 2 weeks. I said, no, faster. I need results right now. Now. And she was like, no, babe, 2 weeks. And I said, no, babe, I needed to work in like 6 hours, 8 hours max, because I need to be happy today. And so, reflecting back on that, and then when I went through this, ebbs and flows in my life, and I had this isolation season, I knew that I didn't want to go into the isolation season and just go into a dark place. I needed to be intentional about my healing. And so I was like, okay, going to therapy. I'm going to save myself right now. Now. Don't waste time. Mind. Now. And I went to therapy. It was free therapy. It's counseling hub. You guys should definitely try it out. Please do. But yeah, I went and I was very intentional about my healing and my health. And I'm very proud of myself for doing that because the woman that I have become today, and look at her now, she's on the Melanin Motive and she's serving and she's looking good. And yes, guys, ebbs and flows are there. It is ghetto. I truly wish our parents told us more, but they couldn't have known. They really couldn't have known because a lot of what we've been, or a lot of what we've been taught, especially from the people before us and for their parents and their parents' parents, was that they really guarded a lot of information from their kids. You know, there were, for example, a lot of women getting married without knowing all the details of what marriage is like and what's supposed to happen in a marriage or in a household, and you learn along the way. And I just feel like maybe we could change the narrative in teaching our kids the real things, so that they can first of all learn from our mistakes. And yes, sometimes kids are going to be like, I want to learn by myself. I want to learn these mistakes for myself because I'm one of them. But I do think having a little bit more of the candid conversations may make us feel a lot more comfortable in navigating this life thing because there is candidness, there is honesty. And I think with that, it makes it more relatable to be like, oh my gosh, my mom was once a girl. My mom once went through that, because now in my head, I'm starting to humanize the older people. I'm starting to humanize them and seeing them like, I'm like, okay, cool. That means my mom was just a girl and she was just figuring it out. And that means that your dad or my dad was also just a guy and he was figuring it out. And, you know, in their own ways, they were sometimes messed up. And that was them in their seasons. And they did the best that they could. They did what they thought was, you know, what was meant to be done. And I commend them for that. And we thank you for that. And here we are now. And I would love for us to change the narrative in the way that we teach our kids and our kids' kids. And I'm glad that we're able to have conversations and open conversations about mental health, because a lot of our parents, especially in Black households, are like, "Ay, wait, now someone depressed. Why? What do you mean you're depressed?" They don't get it. They don't get the constant, you know, mind gymnastics. And I know what it feels like because I overthink even till this day. And I know what those mind gymnastics can do to you and do to your self-esteem and do to your mind. And I can't imagine what you as parents have, you know, carried for all of those years. And I really hope that you're able to lay it down before God, and lay it down also for yourself, for your mental health, and for how you navigate your life from now on, even if you're 50. Even as a 50-year-old, you can start over. I'm here thinking, oh my gosh, I have to start over again because I lost everything. Like I said, I literally lost every single thing and I had to start over. I couldn't even leave the house because your girl does not have money. But the thing about life is that you're going to keep starting over. And I think that's frustrated me. I was like, again? And another one again? No, I don't want to do this. And truly, till today, I'm like, I didn't get the point of it. But I do at the same time because it's necessary to learn these things. And that's probably why I have the Melanin Motive, because I needed to impart this wisdom and to help other people see that, you know, oh shit, like, okay, I'm going through the same thing. She's like, it's relatable. I get it. I get it now. I sort of now get why I need to go through the season. But for instance, like even with our parents, they've had to start out a lot of times. You get 50-year-olds that, you know, get divorced and they have to start all over, get a new house, get a new place, or go back home into 50. Like, that's crazy. Or for instance, like, you know, you can be like 43 and now, you know, your child is no longer here, or there's a loss of someone in your life and now all of a sudden you're a widow. And that's like heavy because now you're like, you have to start over. Or you lose, you know, your man. I lost my man. Maybe lost my man. And now I start over and go look for another one? No. I have to go tell someone else what my favorite color is? No. I don't want to do that. I don't. But that's life. I hate that I'm even saying this because for someone to come and tell me that that's life, I'm like, no, change that answer. I need you to come up with something better. Because the math, I didn't even do maths in school. I didn't even do pure maths in school. And now I'm doing the math in life? No. I need a better answer than that. But it's life, babes. It really do be like that sometimes. It's ebbs and flows. And it's just, you know, you get to a point in your life where you are grieving the life that you thought that you would have, because you obviously had planned. And the thing about when you plan things and you plan your life, God loves. He's like, ah, who's going to tell her? Should we tell her? Nah, let her figure it out on her own. And they really did let me figure it out on my own. But I came back home. And all that noise from all of those distractions was gone because I was isolated and I was just with me and my dad, me and my father. And he was showing me who I am, what my essence is. You've been dimming your light. This person's not good for you. This person was good for you. Don't do that. Don't do this. You know, a lot of learning. And I'm grateful for it right now because it was necessary. Did I want to go through it? No, obviously not. But it was necessary for me to go through it so that I can get onto the other side and basically, be here to impart this wisdom. And so from the stories that I'm telling you right now, I really hope that you take what I am saying and you see the essence of how life's ebbs and flows are necessary and that they are trying to teach you a lesson. And you need to stop and ask yourself, what am I supposed to be learning in this season? What I will advise and say to you is that I really do think that the lessons that you should take away from this is number one, really start with yourself and start with your God. Go back to really understanding yourself. Like you hear these cliches like be yourself. I'm like, boring. Who else would I be? But really, for someone who's a people pleaser like me and had her own issues in her own personal life, from deep traumas and stuff like that, it was very necessary for me to start with myself and to start with my God, because we're God amongst ourselves and He lives within us. And so when you're dimming your light, you're not really, being the God that you are and living in the image that He has made you in. And I think that's really disappointing considering, He's made you and He's brought you on this earth for a purpose. So really start with yourself. What does she like? What does she tolerate? What will she not tolerate? What will he do next? How does he do it better? Who does he bring into his life? Really start to ask yourself, how do I navigate this life better? And how do I do it for myself? I would also say go to therapy, debrief. There is a counseling hub. It's free. There are so many free platforms for therapy. Please do use them, do your research, be intentional about your health, be intentional about your healing. Don't perpetuate the behaviors and the patterns that our parents might have had, especially because they don't know or they didn't have the resources or they prevented really debriefing on their pain, because it is a lot to go. It is a lot to do to go and reflect on your pain, especially because they carry a lot of that pain. And I really get it, but I do think that it's really important for you to debrief and debrief often. I know that this is something I want to do even in my life, is to debrief often on my pain so that I'm not carrying it with me. And then I'm like, yeah, Maraka 1996, wena wait, so cut, mm-mm. Cut me out. I'm not trying to be there, baby. Mm-mm. I think also invest in your community. When I came back home, I was feeling lighter because I had people around me. Invest in the right people. Invest in people that are not going to dim your light. Invest in people that will see you through your ebbs and flows, that will love you in every stage in your life. Invest in your community. We're not Bogotos. We're not islands. You can't do this life thing alone. I can tell you right now. You can't. You cannot do it by yourself. So don't do it. I think also get into a routine. Get into, a cycle and a routine that will help you become a better person. Because I think sometimes we're so engulfed in this whole doom scrolling and constantly people watching and all of this information that is thrown into our faces, how to get a fat ass in 62 days or, how to drive a car in 1 hour, like silly stuff like that. It's constant information that is thrown in our face and it's just not healthy. So get into a routine that will help you start small. For instance, for me, when I got into my morning routine, it really affects my mind, my body, and my spirit. I wake up in the morning and I pray because I need to connect with my God and remember who I am and who He says that I am. And then I go for my hot girl walk. Wow, sekgowa. And then I go for my hot girl walk. And then after that, have a little bit of a gym session. When I'm done, write in my journal, reflect on what my day was yesterday and how I want my day to go today. And there it is. I've taken care of my mind, my body, and my spirit. And that's just a small part of your day. If you just start in the morning, and it's so nice in the morning, it's so quiet. I know it's hard to wake up. Ask me, I know. But it's just quiet in the morning because no one is awake. No one's like really saying anything to you. I'm not even a morning person. So this is perfect because I want people speaking to me. But just, it's your quiet time. And I think it's very necessary for us as people to just for a second, just to breathe and to focus on you for a second. You need to speak to your God. You need to speak to yourself and say, actually, how am I feeling today? Really connect with yourself. And so, yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I really hope that you take what I'm saying. I was very vulnerable, very, very vulnerable. But I really hope that you take what I'm saying and what my experiences are and you take them into your life and realize that these ebbs and flows are necessary. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. You can't do the same things that you used to. There's a song by NX Worries. It's called Move On. And he basically says, I can't do the same things I used to do, and I can't move the same way that I used to move. So change the cycle, change the patterns. You cannot bring the old things, the old friends, the old people, the old boyfriends, the old patterns into the new life that you're going into. It's going to keep changing. It's ebbs and flows. It's going to be different. I'm in a new stage of my life. I feel good. I feel lighter. I feel more connected to my God. I feel more connected to myself. I'm listening to myself more. I still make mistakes. I still sometimes have my people pleaser tendencies. And then I put myself in a timeout. But it's just necessary to learn, and it's slow learning. I'm not rushing myself. I'm not, in a rush. I'm just taking it day by day with my God. And I think it's just very, very necessary. And so I'm challenging you this week to apply those things and to go out there and to run it up. No more dimming lights. No more. No more dimming your light. No more people pleasing. And I am challenging even your friends to put you in a corner for like 10 minutes if you people please one more time this week. Anyway, you guys, I do love having you guys here. If you guys relate on any of these things, please don't make me feel alone. Please don't just watch and not say anything. Hit that like button, first of all. Follow me on Spotify. Hit the subscribe button. And share your story with me. I know that there are other people that are going through the same things as me and these ebbs and flows and how life is ghetto, ghetto, boring. But I want to know that I'm not going through it alone. This is why we have the Melanin Motive. Thank you so much for joining me. It's your Dusky Girl with the Motive, Poko Ranks, and I'll be back next time. Mwah.